Witches, I need something cool to wear, something that says this grand admiral has flair. Witches, beware, you gotta get some blue paint in your underwear. Threads of destiny make me look so cool. Threads of destiny, don't be tripping, tie your red ribbon round this undead fool.
It's the Making Star Wars show.
Uncle told me, why did you have to go? Uncle told me, Billion wants to know. Grand Admiral Thrawn, why so blue? Why so blue? Show me doobly-doobly-doo.
Become a channel member. Or Dick burn off. Obi-Wan will.
Jason is here.
Bastard.
Jason's, there you go. Always takes you a minute. You muted yourself again. There you go. Ruh-roh.
Yeah, we're having one of those days where the service is just taking a crap on us today. Who knows why?
I'm hungry like a trapper wolf, right? I was singing that today on the way back from Costco, Duran, and I was just like doing Filoni, hungry like a trapper wolf, and that action figure Filoni I just love it. I love the face.
Stupid. Yeah, I don't know if that audio was coming in all messed up at the start. I heard it like garbled, and it wasn't garbled like that. Fine. It did. All right.
Yeah, good. It's just your horrible computer.
Yeah, it's weird.
Weird. Yeah, the Disney shill money. Jason spends it all on Galactic Starship. He doesn't spend it on
our buddy Tom is gonna send me an old laptop of his that I can use for the show. So when that comes, we'll be out of the
MVP Tom.
MVP Tom. I know, man. Yes. I gotta write a tribute song to a Tom. I think
you give him a handwritten letter. That's what I do for.
I was gonna say a hand job. I was like, I don't like him that much. I'm not that grateful. I'm pretty grateful, but not that grateful.
I know a Star Wars director who might do it. No,
we're getting close. We're getting close. He keeps being nice to me.
Hey, top of the show, really quickly. Watched episode 1 of Ahsoka with the wife last night.
Okay, how did that go?
Right, she has no clue who Ahsoka, even after Mando. Right, no clue who that character is, no idea. Confused about when the show took place. Confused about the timeline. I had to like break that one down. Enjoyed it. She did try to like clown the Rubik's Cube puzzle. It's not really it's when you're trying to be smart and it's not really smart. That basically that's what she's getting at. She did not articulate it.
It lingers on it too long is the other problem with it.
Forever.
So you just go, are you serious right now? And it makes it play really badly. That's what I said on the show too. Like when we did
no offense, the actress is fine. She, she's pulling up. So the actress for Sabine, she's doing a better job than Natalie Portman did in the prequels. However, she's not the character you linger on the face and then you get deep, articulate thoughts. She's like a Kill Bill kind of person. You know what I mean? Like give her some, get on with it. It's not. I don't know. Some people can do that. Some people like I think Meryl Streep's someone you can like linger on, and she can give you a performance.
Let's not. I mean, we're not going to talk about a Disney Plus actor in Meryl Streep. That's
okay. But Julia Roberts is about the same. I don't.
That's
think
also you're talking like classic A+, A-lister Hollywood.
Okay. Billie Eilish, does she act like?
No.
Who's with the kids these days, right? Okay. How about this? Zendaya, I think you can hang on. Okay. But this, not so much.
That's closer, I think. But yeah. In other things, though, she has the same Natalie Portman thing, and I haven't seen. I've seen clips of her and other things. She's not bad. It's the material. I'm just going to be upfront with you. It's not. It's the and when you watch every episode with the Sabine actor, the performance is wildly. I wouldn't say wildly, but it's not consistent, and you could chalk it up to the directors. Like one of the animation directors did one of them, and that's her worst episode. And it's like,
well, I also give Filoni a big swat on the booty.
Oh no! Thank you, Rob.
Like, look, I have to reframe it like this.
He's gonna like it. He's just gonna like it.
I gotta get him a little spanky spank for Filoni's on the latest episode. I rewatched it as well last night. And I really want to double down on my take that, look, if I had found out my dad was still alive and I basically let another 9/11 happen or a World War II, you know what I mean, to go get him. When I finally find my dad, when I finally find my dad, I'm going to be like, it's not going to be like, hey, how you doing? It's going to be like, oh my God, like the embrace that her and Ezra have, it's childish. It's not the emotional whatever's going on there, however it was directed, written, performed, it's just like I'm not you have to be delusionally in love with these characters to give that a pass. Just putting it out there. It's
Bespin texted me just now and says Billie Eilish does act. She was in Donald Glover's Swarm. He says fuck you, Rob. No, he didn't say that. He says my director point. Ramsey did for little amount of live action experience, and it has some of the worst performances.
Yeah, he also did one in Mando 3. I wasn't the biggest fan of either. So right.
So it's one of those like things with her. Yeah, like he's seen her in other things. Bespin Bolton has seen her in other films of hers, and it is the director.
I'm blaming the team. I'm not blaming one person. So sometimes an actor can show up and I could be like, that actor's woefully wrong. And I'll give you a bad film that an actor made 10 times worse. Go watch Blood Rain and watch Michelle Rodriguez pretend to have an English accent and then quit 5 minutes into the movie. Like, it's so laughably bad. Just stop.
I like her. Like, I actually like her. I feel like I'm actively rooting for Michelle Rodriguez. She's never been good in anything she's ever done in her whole fucking life.
I'll say this. I could tolerate her in the Dungeons and Dragons film that came out last year. I watched that and I was like, I'm not annoyed. She could replace Cara Dune tomorrow and I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Because she's basically playing a Cara Dune in that movie, and I'm like, this is perfectly fine.
I would like it too, because all those white power dudes would be like, they replaced her with a Mexican, and it would be so funny. So I hope they do that.
Can out of Mexican, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Mexican do.
It's right.
It's kind of ties in a little with our episode today too. We're going to talk about Del Toro in a little bit.
Let's talk about it.
But really quickly, me and Bespin were talking about what you and I were talking about in that last episode with Sabine, is that whole like C storyline or B story, I guess it would be the B story in that one, of her like going to find Ezra. It didn't need to exist. It was half-hearted, a little half-assed, and I thought it was doing a never-ending story, kind of like I got my Artex and I'm talking to him in the swamp and we're going somewhere to solve this thing. But
it's
there's
even
no
worse, Jason.
I know, but I'm trying to tell you why. They never do the fucking part. The emotional fucking impact is when the fucking horse dies. So instead, they just did the superficial thing that you've mentioned before with Filoni when he does Miyazaki, where it's just like it's the superficial thing, but without the point.
Yeah.
Without the emotional resonance of it, right? I mean, it's kind of this is another example of that.
the journey should look. This is where I say these things should be 12 to 13 episodes because her journey, if she has to go find Ezra, then that journey should take like 3 episodes because her just finding him with the crab people is like, well, that just makes Thrawn look like an idiot. Thrawn should have just told her where he is. You know what I mean? Hey, he's over there, and I don't give a 2 shits about him. You can have him.
Yeah, they set up a quest, and then it wasn't a quest, right?
It's was like just you, the smartest guy in the world, can't find a guy living with crab people. You know what I mean?
It was a level 1 mission, but this is like she's like level 100 in this game.
You got to start a story with zombie dudes, and you can't find a crab people guy. You know what I mean? You can't just blast them off the face of the planet when they're sitting there with their huts and shit. Like it's.
Look, I mean, look, a little bit of subtext there, Rob.
Bitching.
All those dead stormtroopers might be from Ezra. He might have killed all those.
It's not all bitching. You know who I can just stare at all day and see their performance just fine? Shin Hati. She's in the same series. Look, man, I'm telling you, this series should have just been Balin and Shin Hati. I can watch these two all day long. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. If we get this, if that's the kind of maneuver we get in Acolyte, that might end up being like the best of the action figure Star Wars, like because they hold up even more. Second time around, I could just watch these two all fucking day, dude. They're so good. Like
I don't think Acolyte's action figure Star Wars actually bad trailer.
Great, yeah, but like I'm just telling. So they are the standouts, and I'm gonna say it again, man. The sound design and the music as well, like saved so many. Could have been really boring ass scenes. You know what I mean? Like they really do the work. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the weakest part of this show for me is the rebels. All the characters from the goddamn cartoon. And I'm not trying to, guys. I'm not like, I love Rosario Dawson. I actually like Clerks too. You know what I mean? Like I loved her in
you just like because she does ass mouth.
Death. Well, the Quentin Tarantino death, I always forget the stupid fucking Grindhouse. You know what I mean? Death Proof.
Death Proof?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, and fucking Hera's in that one too. Like those two, right? So, they're the
when I saw kids as a kid, I wanted her to be my girlfriend. So,
and I gotta say, man, like the little kid Ahsoka was amazing. I could watch that all day. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, she's a Gamora, right? She's Kid Gamora too.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. Keep that one on your radar.
Well, she's in Barbie in a starring role in the #1 movie of the year. I think she's good.
My wife hates the color. My wife hates the color pink. I can't get her to watch Barbie. Like I've tried. I'm the only guy who can't get his wife to watch Barbie. You figure that one out.
Yeah, like Colin says, she's good in 25th Hour. Performances are not a priority in Ahsoka. Yeah, 100%.
Keep making excuses. I don't know.
No,
defending that? Like,
no, he's not defending it.
Okay.
But it is what it is. I mean, like George Lucas, he wasn't crazy. He just wasn't prioritizing performances.
Well, as a director, that's your job. So
Quentin says, "What do y'all think about the Ezra eyes?" Yeah, I thought it was funny because, and thank you for the super chat, Quentin. For like the last years, I've been bitching about fucking Saw Gerrera's eyes not being the same as the cartoon, and then this guy comes and he's got the cartoon eyes. So, I like it. I like it because it doesn't look like it's straight up like a human kind of thing. But I would also, just to be nerdy about it, is that supposed to be like what the people of the Thal's eyes look like? Because that's not what they look like when we saw them when we were there at the start of the show. But maybe his family, moved there from.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, the actor has like this like blue contacts in. I'm watching Dave. I'm watching the
so not important.
It's so fucking funny. But when he goes to the Met Gala, he gets blue contacts for the Met Gala, and I thought of Ezra when I saw it. Dave is really
something it's something that Santa and Meg would be like hanging the whole series on. You know what I mean? Like if they don't have the blue eyes, and I just don't know what to do. Well, like, all right.
That's me and Saw Gerrera, to be honest with you. I was
you're in. That's why you do so well on their show. Like
no, but I'm like,
Santa had me on once, and he was like, never again.
Well, it's like, okay, this is a bit hyperbolic, but it's the same thing. It would be like putting Thrawn in a show, and Thrawn's whole physical attribute is he's fucking blue, and then now he's not blue. Like that was an actual attribute.
I get it, but I think that's different. I get it, but it didn't matter to the context of the film. And I would say it again. It's every time they make Doomsday the character that kills Superman. They did it in the movies. They did it in the TV show twice. Every time they do it, it doesn't look like Doomsday. And I'm like, why call it Doomsday then?
Yeah.
But it, like it had it, and so I get it. I understand. But if the whole thing is
Doomsday
working,
or Bane, I think they both suck. I hate them both, honestly.
We are not having this conversation right now. I could do this I will literally drag this show out 3 fucking hours. Like, don't start this fight with me. I do want to address this one.
Yeah.
Colin says, Rob not a fan at all. So after 1.5 episodes, I totally understand that. I would say though that Ray Stevenson and Ivana, I can't remember her last name. Yeah, those two are so good, and the music's so good.
Yeah,
you should just watch it for them. Like seriously, like
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it does get better. It does pick up. It does change, but
does Shinhadi look a little bit like Black Widow to you? Scarlett Johansson? She's got a little bit of that going on there. Remember she's younger?
This is just your face blindness continuing.
Huh? Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
I remember when they were like Kevin Feige, there was a whole rumor about Kevin Feige wanting to put Scarlett Johansson into the Star Wars films. Remember?
Yeah, that was all bullshit. That was all people.
I wonder if I always wonder if that like they saw the look when they were doing, because they do photo bash mock-ups on the concept art, right? I was wondering, like, we'll find someone Johansson-y, but without them, the movie she cost us $40 million, so we're gonna skip that one.
Right. So I haven't read this article straight up yet, but I was talking to Bestman about it while he was writing it, and like years ago now, I had it on very good authority that there was going to be what was just simply at the time called more of a Mos Eisley film, and it was taking over for some canceled stuff. And this was like the hammer hadn't come down entirely on the Star Wars story films yet. This is like in the midst of it a bit.
Hammer to fall.
Yeah, they were like moving, everything was like getting moved around. We know the Boba Fett movie was still going after I said what I said in this article, or in the article that I wrote on it at the time and stuff. But the thing I was told, it was like going to connect to Solo. So a lot of the preliminary work that was going on at Pinewood had like Han Solo in it and stuff like that, and it was the Solo, a Star Wars story Solo. And so I think the idea was going to be on this film that it was going to literally pick right up off of Solo going to Jabba, but it wasn't going to be Solo, a Star Wars story 2 or something like that. But Han Solo I'm fairly fucking certain was going to be in it. But when it comes to blue sky concept art and production stuff like that, it could have been wrong. But
Guillermo did say it was a Jabba thing. Like I remember that one. Or was that you who said that? Like,
okay, so I told you that before on the show. I've said he was doing that Jabba film.
Okay.
And then like I said, it was more of a Mos Eisley crime film in the end.
You're gonna do so much better under deposition than me, Jason. I'm gonna have to go. I do not recall. Like, and I'm not doing that to get out of like.
Yeah,
I cannot remember. Like,
but this was also one of the movies that was in that George Lucas. Like, you could do these movies. These are some ideas that I kind of have, and I don't think it really had any bearing on the movie going into production. But Del Toro started his move for it in the media, saying I'll do a Jabba the Hutt film. And like when Disney bought Star Wars in that very first week, we had that there was a Boba film, a Jabba film, a Yoda film, a Solo film, and the episode 7 thing. And that was sort of what Lucas was saying. This is stuff you can get from me and some of my ideas if you move forward. And if you buy Star Wars, and
wasn't a Qui-Gon movie like James wanted, right? It
was not a Qui-Gon movie. James is just lying. James is just making up shit like always. Kidding, James.
Poor taste, James.
Poor James. No, but yeah. So, anyways, though, but the big news to me was that it was the writer. But let's get into the article. Guillermo del Toro reveals that he was attached to direct a Star Wars movie written by the Dark Knight's David S. Goyer. Details on the film.
That makes me laugh so much, dude. Look, I love David Goyer, right? On Blade. But let's be honest, he wrote and directed Blade 3. He did a treatment for The Dark Knight. Jonathan Nolan really did the bulk of the heat light work on that film. And so there was a collaboration, which is why Jonathan Nolan's Dark Knight Rises is so fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think, Grant, you give him the props, dude. I mean, I love Batman Begins. People are 50-50. You hate it, so there's that. But it is funny,
I saw Batman. I saw The Dark Knight in the theater the other day, and I honestly thought it aged rather harshly in the last couple of years. I saw it like 5 years ago. Had a great time watching it. Saw it in the theater the other day, and I was like, man, there's some like it feels so disjointed in the editing. Like you could tell things weren't filmed together. And I never had that experience watching it, but when I watched it this time, it was just like evident the whole time. It was.
Oh, I didn't watch it the other day. I thought it was still great. I don't know what you're talking about. I totally disagree.
Yeah, because it's because the rose tinted glasses, baby.
No. I was wearing my monocle.
Oh, well, that's why I gotta open them up.
I wear my penguin monocle when I watch Batman movies. That's what I do.
So after years of rumors, best spin, you got a typo here on rumors. That's not how you spell it. After years of rumors that famed director Guillermo del Toro worked on a mysterious Star Wars project, the writer behind the Dark Knight trilogy, David S. Goyer, has confirmed that the duo worked on an unproduced Star Wars movie. Before we continue, you could become a Patreon supporter or a coffee supporter of BestmanBulletin.com. David S. Goyer, likely best known for co-writing Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, and who wrote well-known films such as the Blade trilogy, Dark City, and Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, has revealed on an episode.
He wrote Man of Steel. That should really be the quote.
Some men like Bestman just want to see the world burn. Okay. He has revealed the episode of the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast that he wrote an unproduced Star Wars movie with acclaimed film director Guillermo del Toro, with del Toro confirming the revelation on X. I'm pretty sure much of everybody reading this article knows the work of del Toro, but if not, he most recently released an Academy Award-winning Pinocchio on Netflix, which, by the way, I think is his best movie ever. I may be a hot take.
Some people just like to watch the world burn, right, Jason?
It's fucking great. It's the best Pinocchio ever. Like, the guy went, and I mean, Pinocchio fucking sucks, and he made Pinocchio fucking cool. So he did a good job.
Yeah, it is the best.
No, did you ever watch it?
Yeah, no. I've seen the first 5 minutes. I have to. It's a darker thing, so I need to be in a different frame of mind for that.
Yeah.
I had just seen Mission Impossible for the 7th time, and I'm like, I don't think Pinocchio is the best cool down film off Mission Impossible. So
Pinocchio,
it's gonna be
I'm not. I don't have all of his films. Whenever I watch them, I like them. I have a good time. They're a good thing, but I don't really think he's amazing. And I didn't think he was amazing until Pinocchio, to be honest with you. In addition to
his films have always had like a hook, but like not really the best payoff. Like Blade 2 had the great look, had this great team, and then there's no fight with them, or like he tries to do a James Cameron thing with that movie and doesn't pull it off. So
I always felt like he had like very big creative ideas and strong vision, but then like not like a lot of stamina to see the whole film through with it.
Hey man, dude, making movies is hard. I'm not gonna bitch because like Blade 2 is still the best Blade film. Like it's better than one. One has a sequence, but the whole movie's fucking dumb, dude. Like it's not almost unwatchable.
I don't understand Blade fans at all.
Blade 2 is the one I could put in and watch.
Yeah,
so,
Blade. I saw.
I hate Hellboy. Like I'm the only guy. I'm a huge Hellboy fan, man, since the very first comic. And I gotta tell you, Hellboy is nothing like the comic. It's more like Men in Black.
Yeah,
like it's just fucking weird, dude.
My friend put on one of. I was told him I wasn't a big fan, and he was. But he was like, well, it's coming around to your page, to you being right. And I was like, yeah. And he put on this scene of like Hellboy crying in the shower or something.
Hellboy. The crazy part is what I saw of Pinocchio, I was like, this should be Hellboy. He should do Hellboy in stop motion with this melancholy, these great, because the comic has these vast landscapes set across different European locales. And there's a somberness and an emptiness to the world. That isn't those movies are not that. They're like the Jabba's palace, right? They're like, it's a monster menagerie and everyone's wacky. It's like, that's not fucking Hellboy, dude. So I think Hellboy should be like Pinocchio, and the guy who made Hellboy is actually a great call. Look, Jabba's palace wouldn't have looked like Book of Boba Fett, right? Empty and clean if Guillermo del Toro were doing it. So
no. Yeah, it would have been cool. He's always done good work with monsters from Pan's Labyrinth, you know what I mean? And not a big Pacific Rim fan either, even though I feel like I should like the movie. I just kind of can't.
Hated it. Great theme song though.
Yeah.
Great theme. The guy who did Iron Man's theme song originally, which they've never used again, by the way. I don't know why. It's a great theme song, and he did the Game of Thrones. Rawaji, I can't remember his fucking name, but he did the Pacific Rim theme song. Is really good.
I think his name is Watusi Bellucci.
You know, no? Man, that's what it's going to sound like if I try to say it. So I'll let you take the hit.
That's what he felt like you were going to say. But yeah. All right. So he goes on to say, I wrote an unproduced Star Wars movie that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct. It was about 4 years ago. I also have a scriptment for the Origins of the Jedi also for Star Wars that I wrote for them. That took place 25,000 years before the first Star Wars film. That would have been, I got to do the Vader Immortal thing. That was the VR game. It's amazing. But dabbling in Star Wars would have been fun for me. David S. Goyer by A Happy Sad Confused.
I'll take David S. Goyer over Simon Kinberg any fucking day of the week.
Yeah, same.
Simon Kinberg is the Dennis Quaid to David Goyer's Kurt Russell. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't know. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's unsurprising that Del Toro was involved with a Star Wars flick. It's been rumored for years, and Del Toro in 2017 even confirmed that he had spoken with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy regarding his ideas. I want to say, I could be wrong, but he was even saying he was vying for it in the media immediately. I know those articles probably have fallen off. I'm pretty sure Bestman did a good job here, though. I'm not saying he didn't. One of those ideas he let slip
fuck it up
in an interview with Yahoo Movies, where he told the outlet that he had an idea for a Star Wars anthology movie. Sorry, the trash truck here. That would focus on Jabba the Hutt, with the crime boss enduring a Godfather saga to gain control on Tatooine.
I can hear him now. It would be about the Hutts. He pulls out his sketchbook and shit because he's got that sketchbook. He likes to pull that one. I've been drawing the Hutts.
In 2018, Making Star Wars reported that a mysterious Star Wars movie, which was in early development at Pinewood Studios, London, which was unfortunately scrapped due to the commercial failure of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Canceling plans for a Star Wars story movies, including ones focusing on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett. And that one became at that time, Mangold took over the Boba Fett movie. And I honestly can't say this with any kind of authority. I think a lot of the stuff that went into that Mos Eisley movie I was talking about, which was the Jabba film, was then going to be repurposed for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm talking sets and blueprints and stuff, and being reused, because when it started to look like it was picking up again, it turned out that was the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that was then canceled, and then we got Obi-Wan over here, and so I think that
that went well.
No, I think there might have been initially a plan to have those things sort of save money between doing a Jabba film and the Mos Eisley
saving
film.
Money was definitely the plan for Kenobi.
But no, that's way later, Rob. That's a whole different era when the Kenobi thing happened.
all the way through.
I mean, we're talking years later when we finally get Kenobi out here.
But they never let an idea go at Lucasfilm, right? So once you say we could save some money on something, 30 years later they stick to it.
Well. In years that followed, Making Star Wars shared various podcasts that he believed that the film was to be directed by Guillermo del Toro. I reached out to MSW today, Jabba today, who reaffirmed that tidbit and added that he believes that Alden Ehrenreich Han Solo was to be featured, with the end of Solo acting as a tease for the Mos Eisley film. And that was the whole thing is I never knew if the idea was Solo was in it, or if we just kind of see Solo showing up from the end of that film and then we move on to new people. But I know it was going to feature gangsters and stuff in Mos Eisley, and so
he walks in like the dude from Grease. Tell me more. Mm-hmm. I'm Solo. I'm here at the door. Right? He's got a little. Well, there always has to be some kind of singing in Jabba's palace, and it was Solo. Goes down into song and dance.
Solo rocks. All right. Following Goyer's reveal on Happy Sad Confused, Del Toro took to X to confirm the words of Goyer and teased that his unproduced Star Wars film was about. The director said, "Can't say much, maybe 2 letters, J and BB." Is that 3 letters? Given the post and he's within it, it appears that Del Toro was at some point going to produce the Jabba the Hutt movie. He spoke of in 2015. And with the past report for Making Star Wars, the film would have been set on Tatooine and focused on Mos Eisley Spaceport, a location likely greatly important for a character trying to seize control on Tatooine. Yeah,
what's BB stand for?
Because Jabba, Jabba, he's taking the vowels out of it.
God, man, he's fucking. All I see is BJ because I got Filoni in my head, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but then I was thinking, Boba Fett.
I thought, I was like, myself and BB-8. You were gonna make a Jason and BB-8 movie? Because I'm
he took the vowels out but left the consonants. Okay,
there we go.
Okay,
all right. The location likely.
I like Plinko.
Yeah,
yeah, I like Pressure Luck. I don't know, fucking Double Dare. I hate word games. I hate them.
When Goyer was asked why the film was not produced, he simply told Happy Sad, confused that there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at Lucasfilm at the time. That stuff was likely the reshutting of Lucasfilm's plans, which included other Star Wars story films following the commercial failure that was Solo. James Mangold, director of Logan, and Indiana Jones director Dial of Destiny, confirmed earlier this year that he was writing a Boba Fett film for Lucasfilm a handful of years ago, but that the project was scrapped following the performance of Solo. Excuse me. You can read Goyer's quote below. It was just a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on at Lucasfilm at the time, but it's a cool script. Have you had Guillermo on the show? You'll have to ask him about that next time he's on. It's a cool script. There's a lot of cool artwork from it that was produced. David, and that's David S. Goyer on Happy Sad Confused. And yeah,
by the way, when you switch to doing shorts, right? Because these long format shows aren't good for the algorithm, and you'll eventually cave in. You should just call the show MSW Today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go.
MSW now. Okay. It's
today.
A shame that we never got to see Del Toro Goyer project, but I hope someday a version of it comes to life. Goyer mentioned in Origins of the Jedi movie that he submitted a scriptment for. I hate the fucking word scriptment. It's just
you just want another thing to complain about James Cameron.
No, I hate it because fucking people that usually don't know what they're talking about use that, like, and it's like not what it's just, I don't know. It sounds so 1990 on the internet learning about film for the first time,
People don't realize though that when James Cameron wrote his scriptment, right? Like it's because he writes detailed.
Like, why say scriptment? It's harder to say scriptment than just to say his script.
Because it's because it's less than half the size of a full script and it's twice the size of a treatment. Mostly it's because he put a lot of camera work to help gauge production costs. So I feel like the people who generally write scriptments aren't doing that. They're just writing elongated treatments. His were to gauge the actual cost of production. And then he would still underdo it because you should just double whatever.
Scriptments is this weird thing in there. I don't know.
Well, it came from James Cameron. Yeah.
Oh, wait, is that James Cameron's fault?
Yeah.
I fucking hate James Cameron then.
That's what I said. You just because you hate James Cameron. I love James Cameron.
Hope he fucking takes that submarine. No, I'm kidding. For years ago,
he took the submarine and won a world record with it.
The other one
did some real science.
The other one.
Oh no!
Years ago, we know that James Mangold is currently on board to write and direct a movie with the same premise. So perhaps there's hope for the Jabba the Hutt spaceport centric film. Yeah, that's the whole thing with this. Though I think
we'll get the Barbie director to do it though, and it'll be really fucking ridiculous. Like I just look. How do I say this? My faith in Lucasfilm to produce something intentionally is minimal. Accidentally, I think they could do it, but intentionally, they get too involved, man, and it just ends up vanilla. Like I don't know.
So here's the whole thing, because everything on them is IP based that's already owned for the most part. The people come in and they probably over the years had 50 different filmmakers come in and say, I got this idea, guys. Everybody's sitting down. It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so when they do that, people end up sometimes reading the previous stuff and building on it, or something falls apart, but they will have a meeting with it. Like when Mangold, he may have read that 25,000 years ago script, or they might have just said, yeah, we tried that. We tried to develop that with Goyer and it fell apart. And then he might have asked, why did it fall apart? and they might have said because of this, and then he might have said, well, here's what I would do differently, and then they're like, all right, do it, let's try it. So I think that's how this usually goes. And in fact, I wouldn't be fucking surprised if the Boba Fett thing and all of those random ideas in there might kind of be some of this Mos Eisley story.
Yeah, meanwhile, they're blaming Solo and the idea of a single character film tanking as the reason why that film tanked, and not because Jonathan Kazan didn't have a giant fucking hand in it, you know? And I'm sorry, but Jonathan Kazan is literally the worst writer to touch Star Wars since George Lucas. Like,
right now he's,
and he's worse because he ruined Willow. At least Lucas got Willow.
He didn't ruin Willow, dude. He ripped that shit up. He fucked he fucked it into a pile of rubber doll at the end. It was just rubber melted everywhere.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah.
But
Dreamcatcher 2 next. Can't wait.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it just comes down to, though, at the end of the day, the alchemy of the people involved, I mean, you could take it's like you can't make any statement that it's good or that it's bad, because it's just the people involved change everything. I mean, depending on your point of view, fucking, like, I'm sorry, but like the Last Jedi and Solo could not be further apart in every single way. And then and like, there's just that people act like it's the same thing when it's not. But to Solo has become the pinata. It was the thing that made him go, we don't know what we're doing. It did make them go, maybe we can't just do whatever we want. And then they did, I think it wasn't like, it just kind of like reduced in its failure. Wasn't just like, oh man, we're on a downward trajectory now. It was like night and day. It was like, here's roughly $400 million when everything else is passing $1 billion. Rogue One's passing $1 billion. Like, so it was like, fell right on its face. And I think they were, I mean, it's a lot of money, so I understand.
They get too involved though, man. Again, like, look,
but how do you not
forget fan reaction? Because
$1 billion on the table, how do you go, you know what? Let the Lego guys do what they want. I mean, I'm saying, I'm just being, I would rather.
But you already fucked up $1 billion on the table, because George Lucas has proved time and time again that, like, the best part of George Lucas wasn't when he was fucking micromanaging Richard Marquand. All right, that's not the best Star Wars. I know you all fucking love it, but it isn't. So like, just stay the fuck out the way. Make sure they don't fuck it up. But that's just a problem. And again, it is a problem with creators, because on that particular project, Lawrence Kasdan didn't, he wanted one thing in the director. Who was in charge? Who's in charge? Is the director's in charge, or is the writer? I mean, that's weird for the writer to get him, for the writer of the film to get involved with the producer and have the directors removed is unfriggin' heard of. Charlie Kaufman himself couldn't pull that one off, and Lawrence Kasdan's no Charlie Kaufman. So like, I don't care what the fuck he's written. Like, he's just not. And he hasn't been the Lawrence Kasdan we've known since literally the fucking 80s. Like, Dreamcatcher is one of the worst fucking experiences I've ever had to sit through in a movie theater, like, and that was all on. It really is. It's really bad, Jason.
It's the thing. No,
and it has a guy playing a ridiculously mentally handicapped in a way that is just unfucking like forgivable, dude. Like, but it's simple Jack. No.
Like, when I saw it, I liked it as like, it was a random. Like, I used to have this channel, I think it was called like the HD channel, when like HD TVs were new, and it came on there, and so I was like, I was watching anything in HD because it was like rare and rarer at the time, and like TV was just kind of catching up. So I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is fucking like, this is like an interesting, like, dumb horror film thing, whatever. And then when I saw it was Kasdan, though, that's when I was like, now that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's what was weird about it. Is it? But you're right. I mean, he hasn't really. He did that fucking yuppie fucking movie. What was it? What was that yuppie one? That yuppie movie he did in the 80s. Big Chill. Yeah.
That's the last time he did anything good, man.
And like, they were and fuck all of them. Like, fuck them all. Like, I mean, it was.
It's no St. Elmo's Fire. So like
James, fire.
Yeah. James says the final battle wasn't the best part of Return of the Jedi. No, it wasn't. The best part of Return of the Jedi was Luke and Vader with Palpatine. That's the best part of Return of the Jedi. Is it fun to watch? Is it a good Star Tours ride? Absolutely. Is it better than the payoff to the first time they blew up the Death Star in A New Hope? No, not by a long shot. It's just more stuff on screen. That doesn't make it better, James. And if you're gonna take that route, then you should. The opening to Revenge of the Sith should be the greatest space battle ever, and it's boring as fuck. Well, like density does not equal quality. Like,
you're right in the sense that like George Lucas was really hands on with Return of the Jedi script, like and Empire. Like he starts both of those the process on both of those like films, and then he does.
Yeah, it's fantastic in Star Tours, right? When you're flying through there, like it's fantastic.
That's where the authorship kind of thing comes in, where he becomes a bit more controlling, if you will. But yeah, it just if you were going to do Solo that way from the very start, you shouldn't have got people with really original voices that have strong perspectives and points of view, and that are hilarious at the same time. You should have got a Richard Marquand. That's the actual, like, just the truth of it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, like, if they went, like Marvel does it all the time. Every time there's a Marvel director announced, I don't know who the fuck they are. I have no idea.
Do you think, well, not Solo, I don't think that would have been his, but like John Knoll, right? Like John Knoll's always, I always feel like he's always itching to direct, but he hasn't stepped. Like Joe Johnston would have been that guy. Like Joe Johnston, had he gone to film school, say Lucas put him in film school around 1979, right?
Oh, okay. I was like, he did, Rob. He did put him in film school. What
had he put him in film school before Return of the Jedi, there is a probability that Joe Johnston directs Return of the Jedi. You see what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's just a shame.
You know what? Yeah, it's literally impossible because it's like he would have got it because of the work that he had done before, but he couldn't have done the work before if he was doing film school. But
then I'm like, maybe if Joe Johnston had directed episode 1, that would have been something too, you know? Like,
I think
his work on Jurassic Park 3 is extremely underrated.
Yeah, honestly, I like Jurassic Park 3 second best in all of them.
Yeah.
You know,
they just cut the budget
goals between my first Jurassic Park movie and my second one, to be clear.
Yeah.
But
it's not Alien 2 to Alien, right? It's isn't. But the ending of Jurassic Park 3 is just it's cut off. There should have been a giant kaiju battle at the end, and then it turns into Lost. Like there's some dude in a suit standing in a forest. You're like, what the fuck is happening here? Like I was like, it turns into Lost. Go rewatch that ending. It's fucking crazy. And I do want to say this, folks. People in the chat have been mentioning Guillermo making Mountains of Madness. Understand that James Cameron himself, after Avatar, Guillermo del Toro has been wanting to make Mountains of Madness forever. Okay, the H.P. Lovecraft film, and James Cameron was producing it. He was going to use his Avatar 1 clout with the money, right? All that, because you get clout when you have a big win over at Fox or whatever to get that movie made. But Prometheus decided to come out. And because Prometheus was essentially at the Mountains of Madness, the studios were like, no, that's Prometheus killed that. So thanks, Ridley Scott. Instead of making the Aliens movie, you tried to make the jankiest version of Mountain. You got it. Then you're never going to get the Guillermo version. So that's what happened.
Yeah, but Prometheus is great. That sequel to Prometheus, not so much though. Well,
it's not an alien movie. It's not the Mountains of Madness featuring alien-like stuff. So it's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Ray of Water says, in a perfect world, Steven Spielberg would have directed Return of the Jedi, like Lucas wanted. Yeah, my thing in the back of my mind was when Kathleen Kennedy took over Star Wars, I thought, oh, that's how we finally get Spielberg. But apparently that's not.
He wants to make musicals and bullet remakes. I gotta tell you, man, like at the time I was watching Campia when he had Robert Meyer Burnett on, right? And for like a year, for some reason, because people get older, they like to I like to repeat things a lot. Right, January
6th was an inside job.
Yeah.
What?
Do not do that to me. But
what that guy is any one of those? Anyways, I don't know. But go on.
And Robert Burnett was going off about like studios will only want to make $100 million reboots, right? Or sequels. Because at the time he was trying to get a movie made. I'm like, he's trying to get a movie made. He couldn't get it done. And then he came out of West Side Story going best film of the year. I'm like, that's $100 million remake, you fucking idiot. That's the day I turned off the campus show. I can't do this. You can't have some consistency, or at least own that you were wrong. I'm not saying that you could be wrong, but if I go over here and tell you that I want Star Wars to have humanistic stories, and then they go and then I go and tell you that the Lizzo and Jack Black episode is the greatest Star Wars ever made, you got a right to fucking call me out on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So consistency.
Ray of Water
or admit,
says, maybe I'm misremembering, but wasn't Spielberg considered for TFA? But he told Kathy to ask JJ instead. I can't remember. There was something like where they kind of like were filling people out, and he was like not interested. I remember the vibe being, he was like nah, and then he was like, yeah, get JJ to do it or something like that. And I believe that was one of the things that helped talk JJ into it, was Steven Spielberg being like, you're the guy.
Look, for me, man, I've only really liked 3 Spielberg films since the 2000s. The opening to Saving Private Ryan, which I still feel should have been an Indiana Jones film.
Okay.
Catch Me If You Can.
That was great.
And Tintin.
Tintin. I tried
to made with Peter Jackson, or whatever.
My son was never frightened by film ever. But when that BFG or whatever the fuck it was called movie came out by Spielberg, I put that shit on. My kid started screaming. He was fucking terrified of the old man in it. It was the only thing. I've never seen him afraid of anything except for that in his whole life.
But I was reminded of Tintin when we got the buggy chase and Dial of Destiny. I was like, maybe Mansell should have watched Tintin. Like just watch that. Like that. They did that there better.
So featuring movies that people believe will never come out, but this one is actively being talked about by them. Taika Waititi has turned in multiple drafts of his Star Wars movie script, expected to turn in another draft after the WGA strike.
I love that face, dude.
Here he is, like,
that's
the contentment of a man who just had 2 chicks at the same time.
I don't have that face.
No,
none of
never going to.
Damn, that guy, man, like he's just got everything. Like good fashion taste. I would never think to wear those 2 sweater, a V-neck crocheted sweater with. God, that's smart. I can't. To
be fair, if you dress like that before you have money and 2 chicks at the same time, you usually just get your ass kicked, though. That's the whole difference. So that's the.
Might even kick my own ass just to teach myself.
You got to have bodyguards dressed like that.
Liar. Kicking my own ass.
As rumors swirled on, this is from bestmanbulletin.com. As rumors swirled on social media in regards to the status of the in development Star Wars movie from director and writer Taika Waititi, a reliable source has now confirmed its situation. You can support Bestman on Patreon.
Situation.
The situation. Hey, the situation. Over the weekend, Twitter was abuzz with the unfounded rumors that Taika Waititi's untitled Star Wars movie has been canceled at Lucasfilm and Disney. So fucking stupid. For the record, I don't know anything for sure, but I know. Well, no, 2 things happened. Somebody who runs their shit behind a paywall saw a good opportunity to fucking make money off of doing the fan math on the fact that he was joking he was never going to finish his thing because there's a fucking writer's strike and he can't. But everybody needs to remember, no one is going to get fired during the strike. You can't turn in something that gets you fired when you can't turn in something.
Well, it's so ridiculous, Jason, that even Snyder on last week's Hot Mic stopped Roka halfway through the show to go, oh, by the way, the whole Taika thing, fuck it. I mean, he's like, look, do I personally think? Maybe not. But is it it's ridiculous. Like, he's like, so. Yeah.
And to be fair, Snyder was one of the people that said that his movie was dead before too, but at least when he said it, it made sense, or it was possible, or it was an educated opinion based off of the fact that you could even turn a script in, So various social media accounts who claim to be people in the know though, get a whole heck of a lot wrong, started claiming that Waititi's Star Wars flick was dead at Lucasfilm and were using a quote from the filmmaker from TIFF as evidence of its demise. It essentially came across as fan math and in some cases wishful thinking. Yes. And we even joked that this was going to happen when we read the article. And Bestman wrote the article on it about the joke, knowing he was getting ahead of it, you know? So here at
who do they
Bestman,
want to direct the Star Wars movies, people?
Oh, it's all dog shit. It's just all the last thing they saw. It's just the last thing they saw, Rob. The last thing they saw that they liked is the person, and then when that person makes something that they don't like, then they
Christopher Nolan. By the way, I think that would be the dumbest Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah,
like not ever, but up there. I just think Christopher
would be
Nolan's
as bad as
not,
Dark Knight. Is that what you're saying?
Dark Knight Rises. I just think it would be. Look, man,
it would
humanistic experiences. Humanistic experiences is not Christopher Nolan's forte. You know, like it's this other stuff. And I got to tell you, just the description of him in bed in Oppenheimer is keeping me away from watching that movie. I don't want to sit through that. I can't.
Wait, what?
I can't. I am the destroyer when he's getting laid. I just can't sit through that. I can't do it.
I don't even know. I saw the movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't remember it, but it's there. I don't want to watch it.
If anybody was looking at Florence Pugh's titties and they were thinking about that, they're watching the movie wrong. Gotta tell you guys, they're watching the movie wrong. Here at Bestman,
she shows them everywhere. So we've seen them. You know?
I know, and that's why she's the most amazing actor of our
She's a great White Widow. Yeah, I love her in the Marvel.
Amazing actor. Here at Bestman Bulletin, we covered Taika's TIFF quote last week, where we emphasized that the quote was heavily laced with sarcasm. No fucking shit. I mean, it's like it was so obvious.
Like fentanyl. We've laced it with sarcasm.
Like you know how there's like that, you know, some people are face blind. Half the internet's fucking text blind because they don't read a goddamn thing. The quote itself came from a speech Waititi gave at the film festival when presenting a fellow future Star Wars filmmaker, Sean Levy, with an award. The speech, as expected with Taika, was filled with jokes and he quipped that, unlike me, there's hope Levy, will actually finish his Star Wars script. The line was clearly a joke, and we linked to a video so that the readers who don't fucking read could see the quote in context. However, with social media, it seems that most only users read a headline or an out of context quote and start making something out of nothing, and many follow that narrative, not doing any research themselves. Though we did our part here, making the headline that of Taika Waititi making a joke in regards to his Star Wars script. I thought you mean scriptment because it's not done. Was emphasized within the article that the Ho Ho Rabbit director, I'm kidding, was joking along with adding visual context. Most people online will unfortunately see an out of context quote from somebody with vastly more followers than I, and unfortunately start to believe an untrue and unfair narrative being created. I always tell my readers and listeners to check track records of those making a claim or report. Here, we only cover those we consider reputable and outlets or individuals with a proven and reliable track record. So if you don't see it being covered on Bestman Bulletin, it's because we don't believe the claim. Yeah, that's what he's saying. And that the individual or outlet does not have a proven track record, which brings me to today's information, which comes from a reputable individual. Yesterday, journalist and insider Jeff Snyder, took to his podcast, The Hot Mic, alongside his co-host John Roca, to discuss a bevy of topics, one of which being the rumors. I spelled rumors wrong again, you fucking idiot.
A bevy of Sean Levy.
What is even a bevy? Is that like a beaver? Is that like
it's like look, we're in Carlin territory here, but it's like when Carlin would go, "What the fuck is Hardy?" You know, no one uses Hardy. Like that's a bevy.
I think Bevy's that guy on his podcast with him.
Put the bevy to the levy, right?
But the bevy was dry. One of which,
not being the rumors, Florence Pugh.
One of which being the rumors of Waititi's Star Wars project being canceled. Snyder brought up the topic and shared what he had been hearing from his sources. Snyder revealed that he's heard that the What We Do in the Shadows creator had turned in multiple drafts of his Star Wars script to Lucasfilm, and that other writers had also worked on the project. But that once the Writers Guild of America strike has concluded, Waititi will submit another draft of the script. You can read Snyder's quote below. It's not dead. Taika has turned in multiple drafts at this point, and other writers as well have touched it. Taika owes them another draft after the strike is over. I don't think he sounds like that, but it'd be cool if he did. Jeff Snyder by the hot mic. So, given that Waititi has been working on the Star Wars script for over 3 years, it's not surprising to hear that
Christ.
the Love and director has submitted multiple scripts to Lucasfilm. We even speculated such before. And yeah, that was the whole thing. I mean, like the depiction in the media, oh, Taika's still writing, hasn't even done anything. It's like, that's not how writing works. You know, rough drafts, there's deadlines.
Yeah, but 3 years to write a script, you know, like, I don't know.
Well, that's not, you're doing exactly what I'm saying is the wrong way of looking at how the process works.
Okay.
You don't go and like, okay, I'm going to go write it. I'll see you when I'm done.
Right. Let me rephrase it. Wow, 3 years to write a script. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
only
no. Well, no, but also there's been a lot of it's been some of it's been in the fucking writer strike now. But the thing about it is that it, like, when it was announced and when he started on the same thing, and then when he starts writing, and then like he has like a rough draft, you know, deadline, like there are project deadlines. So he turns in that, then they read it, then they discuss, and then he goes on to draft one. And Christy Wilson,
they run it through the AI, see if it's marketable, like Warner.
No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't.
Warner Brothers started that in 2020.
Yeah, that's why all of their movies have been soulless pieces of shit for a long time. Outside of the Batman,
Barbie made him $1 billion. Like AI got one project to win.
Yeah, I mean, that whole who was the guy? The Zack Snyder era is the most soulless, boring fucking era of superhero.
But they started, but they started the AI thing in 2020. That's after Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
This is what approved the Flash.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there.
Shazam 1 and 2.
I'm gonna throw it out there that when Zack Snyder is where you think film is at, AI is as good as Zack Snyder. That's just a fucking fact. Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Everyone else out there is rooting for Rebel Moon, and I'm like, I don't get it,
dude.
Like,
I get all this Netflix for it. Was getting all the stuff from Netflix for it. I was like looking at it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it looks fucking horrible. It looks like shit. So
yeah. I don't. I'm sorry. It doesn't even have Larry Fong's cinematography. It just.
Yeah.
I said, look, this is what happens when someone looks at Serenity and adds Gryffindors to it. You know, like I just, you know, without the cleverness of Joss. I know everyone hates Joss, but I'm like, yeah, but the movie and that show is great. I don't, you know, like I'm not talking about personalities. Talk about the shows.
But during Taika's announcement in May 2020, it was revealed that Christy Wilson Cairns, who wrote the film 1917, Last Night in Soho, and The Good Nurse, was set to co-write the effort with Waititi. Wilson Cairns, in the fall of last year, mentioned that she and Waititi were still working on the script. However, in April of this year, the Lucasfilm president, Kathleen Kennedy, seemingly revealed that Taika was now writing the film alone. And once again, there's always the fucking possibility they just don't really fucking acknowledge her, and she's still on it. I don't know. Wilson Cairns is the only writer outside of Taika that has been revealed to have worked on the project, that has seemingly still on the project around a year ago. The last we heard of Taika's Star Wars film in May, when the director told the Hollywood Reporter he has a really good idea for the flick. The director added that he was currently struggling to crack the middle section of the script and joked that he couldn't let his characters just meet a smuggler with an alien sidekick. Those comments from Waititi followed some made by Kathleen Kennedy the month before at Star Wars Celebration, where the Lucasfilm president revealed that Taika was a slow writer and that his script needed a third act.
I have a question. When he said he had a really good idea for a script, was that laced with sarcasm too?
No.
Like do we know?
No. That's why
I have a real good idea for a script.
No. Now you're doing what they did when they said it was canceled from the other angle. But no,
but that was me though, Jason.
No,
that's money when the show's over.
That's why they keep developing the film, because it's such they feel such a good idea. So I have to imagine it is, and you know, like they were really in love with Taika before he came aboard Mando, and so
we're really in love with Jonathan Kasdan. Look where that got us.
No, Jonathan Kasdan came with the dad.
I like it better when they stay out of it, when they're like, we don't really know, we'll just ignore it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
No, I mean, I think Jonathan did an okay job with his dad on Solo, but in total,
Yeah.
no, it's not an amazing script at all. It's not an amazing,
Right.
It's a fine, if it was like a Disney Plus series, it'd be great, it'd be fine, it'd be cool. But it's kind of it's very disimpassioned, as I'd say.
Ooh,
Waititi
I like
has
that,
been at
disimpassioned.
it's just right. It just kind of doesn't really feel like it.
That's all. I'm not even being sarcastic. I think
Yeah.
that's something even Meg could understand. Because
Hey,
she speaks above us,
she's
Jason. You
fancy.
ever
She's
feel like she
fancy.
just got that damn accent? She's all
Well, she went
smart.
to Hogwarts and we went to public school. That's a
God,
difference.
she did go to a prep school, right? Like we don't
I actually don't know. I have no idea. But
statistically speaking.
well, I'm just being an idiot. Waititi has been at the Toronto International
American.
Film Festival since last week, where he debuted his next directorial effort, Next Goal Wins, which unfortunately was received with mixed reviews. Next Goal Wins, at the time of writing, holds a mere 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, the lowest score of Waititi's career.
That's good.
Personally, I was hoping that while Waititi was at the event, he might do some press and share an update, however brief, on his Star Wars movie. However, that now seems unlikely. Perhaps we'll get an update from the director in November when promotion for Next Goal Wins begins. So that seems probably likely, I think.
Didn't like the trailer for that Next Goal Wins. I was
Really?
looking forward to it, but didn't like it.
I think it looks good personally, but doesn't mean it is.
Derivative would be the word I would use. Yeah.
Of what? Ladybugs?
Taika.
You're not going to say ladybugs.
Derivative of Taika. Like it's
no, I mean the idea
look,
of making a movie out of a soccer team who's so horrible that all they want to get
we've
is
already
one goal.
we've seen this. It's Cool Runnings.
I haven't seen that. I've never seen
no,
that movie.
he did this movie already with the Eagle kid.
But it's also a true story, like Cool Runnings.
So was the Eagle kid. He did this already.
With the Eagle kid, I don't even know what that is.
He wrote that with the fucking Eagle, the Canadian Eagle kid, the sports movie he did with the Kingsman dude. No, Taika wrote this fucking movie, man. Come on, guys. You know what I'm talking about. James will know.
Eagle Boys? Eagle Men. Where Eagles dare.
That's the name of Filoni's new experimental film. He's going to do
Eagles Double
Eagle
Dare.
Boys.
So here's what we do: is we get the Double Dare set from the 80s, and then we put a bunch of eagles on it, and we just see what happens. Who wins? Who's gonna win?
Eagle versus Shark. Thank you. Written and directed by Taika Waititi, 2007.
I didn't see that one.
He already did this.
Thank you, Dave. Dave gave a super chat and says, really hope Filoni doesn't film his movie at Manhattan Beach.
No, that's not it. God damn, what
real
location movie am I thinking of?
I'm trying to read. This guy gave me a super chat.
Sorry.
Really hope Filoni doesn't film his movie at Manhattan Beach and goes to Pinewood in real locations, but it's probably gonna happen. Yeah, that's been our want this whole time as well. But how things sound and how they are never the same thing either. But how it sounds, I would expect a lot of it.
Eddie the Eagle.
Okay.
Oh, and Taika wasn't involved with Eddie the Eagle. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Well, I've already seen that shit, so there you go.
Eddie the Eagle. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I know he gave us $5, but I contribute more to this show monthly than him, so I care less. I supersede. Yeah, but so no, I give you.
I take you for granted now, though, because he's
you do take me for granted.
So, you know,
look, just saying. I hope your views go up when I'm not here. Think about it.
Hey, Rob, you know what you do?
The subtractive method is a literal art method, Jason.
Rob, you keep shit around here chill. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, but when it comes to the Manhattan Beach stuff, like, yeah, if there was like a certain amount of the tech that was going to be filmed or using that tech, then, you know, by all means, Manhattan Beach it, right? But I do hope that we do get more on location stuff for sure. And I think there would be some. I would imagine there would be some.
Plus, you know, we've also just seen Ted Lasso. I'm still stuck on my other conversation. We've just seen 3 seasons of Ted Lasso, and for Taika to do like his own Ted Lasso just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't it's too soon.
No, it's not like Ted Lasso at all.
It is. It's a guy coming out of whatever to go teach some kids who don't know what they're doing to win some soccer. Just telling you, it's how it plays when you watch it on the theater, man.
Yeah,
I've
I've
seen
seen the
that trailer
trailer.
in theaters. It
I don't
plays
see
like
that at
another
all.
Ted Lasso-y kind of thing.
Ted Lasso is like a completely different tone.
I know, but I'm telling you what it plays like to the average person.
Yeah, but like
This isn't.
Ted Lasso is, I think, a
I know, but
terrible.
you're educated,
I'm
but
just saying, no, I'm not. I'm dumb.
and I think this is not going to be a good movie. So
Well,
there you go.
critics aren't liking it, so
Oh,
you're yeah. That's
yay! I
yeah.
win.
Yeah. No, people, I think they may be being too hard on it because they're expecting like what we do in the shadows and you know what I mean. Like I think he's now starting to build an audience with expectations about what the guy is, and that's one of the things I always like have to deal with whenever we cover anything with Taika, is that somebody has some idea about what Taika is, and then it's like, no, you could go look at Mandalorian, the finale of season 1. What like Taika-isms do you see there that most of the people are talking about? It's like most of the time it's not there. And that,
Existential troopers.
You know what I mean?
Existential troopers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's good. It's good, but it's not
when he punches Grogu in the sack. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, that's gold.
Yeah.
And you hear
and
him?
it has Ted Lasso in it. His friend.
Told you. I do want to say this about Davo Fidi. Davo Fidi. How do you pronounce this? Davo Fiidel. Davo Fiddle.
Dave off ID.
Okay, all right. Hey man, Ahsoka was shot at Manhattan Beach.
Oh no, it's Dav of I Die.
And it could be played on the big screen according to everyone else. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't, Greg Fraser, cinematographer for 3 episodes of Mando,
Lover,
the Batman.
Friend,
he actually helped them develop and build the volume. And he was talking about it recently on Roger Deakins, Team Deakins podcast. There's a 2-parter. The first part, I think, is the more interesting interview. The second part gets really into like lenses and lighting and shit, which you're not going to enjoy. But he did talk about the volume in its modern state post the Batman, right? And going into Batman 2. And he was saying even now he wouldn't want to make a whole film in the volume. It's it's very designed for certain things, even as great as it's, as much as the technology's improved, it's extremely limited in what it can do. So if Greg Fraser, the guy who helped build the fucking volume, on Rogue One, says don't do a whole thing in the volume, then Disney should be not doing a whole thing in the volume.
We have to be, if you want to be real about things, like if you remember back in the old days of filmmaking, when you would all of a sudden see a really horrible shot on a blue screen, that's what it's become. When they want to do that really horrible,
like the prequels, like Attack of the Clones.
No, not that.
It looks a lot like that.
Yeah, that's 20 years ago. And it's
look, I know we've gone backwards,
but that's not that's not what George was
doing. Good
call,
Jason.
No,
I agree with you.
It's not the same. But it is that. I mean, like you could see it like in like Last Crusade, when they're on the beach, all of a sudden you just see like Sean Connery in front of a blue screen for shots. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? And
remember
it's like,
Robot Jocks? When like they'd cut.
I saw that in the theater.
When it would cut to them up close and you could see the sand bar. There's like a wood bar where the sand is, like in front of a rear projection. Like so bad.
But so it is a lot like that. And like one of the things about it that I've noticed, like I watched the last episode of Ahsoka a few times now because I enjoyed it. And as I'm watching it though, there's like shots where Thrawn is clearly in front of a volume and not in a Star Destroyer hangar, right? And it's just very like it's very Return of the Jedi in front of the blue screen with Lando. But hold on, here's the whole thing though. When you see it the shot the first time, you buy it. And then it lingers like a frame or two too long, and you start to go, and then it cuts, and then you're like, okay, cool. But then it goes back to the same shot, same angle, and it's just
much to complain about the editing.
But I mean, no, but it's essentially a coverage issue. They don't have enough angles set up in the volume, and then the coverage to do those extra shots. So my thing is like that last episode of Ahsoka, had it been a film, you would think it would have a lot more coverage, and that stuff would have looked a hell of a lot better. And you would have been closer to being able to do a film in the volume. Now, at the same time, do I ever believe that doing a film in the volume will be like actually like reasonable, or you should? I don't see why you would do that. Like why not like send Obi-Wan Kenobi to Death Valley or Tunisia just to get the shots? Why have to struggle for realism?
Well,
You can just put him there and not struggle, you know.
They would say cost, because, and this is what I wanted to get into, is Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One, and the creator, just did an interview with Scott Mantz. It's 40 minutes. Go type it in. It was actually done about a month ago. They did select scenes from the creator at IMAX, and they apparently did it worldwide because they were taking QR code questions from different streaming. I don't know how they did it. Anyway, Mance, he's an annoying guy to listen to, but he's not a bad person. He's got the most annoying fucking voice in the history of mankind. You know, like he makes Pee Wee Herman sound suave. And but it's a really good interview. And Gareth was saying that, you know, he presented the idea for the film to the producers, new agency or new
which
agency,
film?
The creator.
For the
Right?
for the creator.
Yeah,
Okay.
he went to pitch it to the investors, and they were like, "That's a $300 million movie." Because when you add up the sets, each set is $200,000 when you go shoot on location. Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. We'll do it for 90. Here's how. They had a 4-man crew, Jason. They went to 80 different locations. They shot the film, right? So the crew's 4 people plus actors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They go shoot the whole film documentary style, no pre-production, right? Script's done. Just shoot the film wherever they're doing location scouting while they're there. Oh, that place looks cool. We'll shoot here. We'll get permission from this place to shoot there. There's a whole silicon chip fucking thing they shot there. Then what they did was they took all of that footage, edited the film together so it works, and then did the visual effects over the shot footage that's already locked. No changes.
Yeah.
And that's how they did the creator for $90 million. And I'm like, that's how Star Wars TV needs to be done. When you said, how can a $90 million Star Wars movie get made? That's it. That's how you do it. And the dude, and I guarantee you that had to come from his experience working on Star Wars. That had to be a reaction to that whole process.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's like, originally, I remember the story from Lucas where he talked about like his production company was called JAK Productions, which was his son, his kids, his daughters, and his son's names turned into a production company. And the idea was obviously, if you found something bad happens, it doesn't touch Lucasfilm. It's like just that company's problem now. And in it though, he also dropped this. I heard he was with the producer Rick McCallum. And Rick was like, yeah, also, like, if they know it's Lucasfilm and they know it's Star Wars, then, like, the cost of lumber becomes, like, double. And he's like, so we go and we do that, and then they just charge us what it's cost. We're paying the real price for
Plus,
things.
when you need reshoots,
you
have to rebuild sets, or you have to peel it back. It's a giant cost issue. That's why when Ray Lando should be a $90 million Star Wars.
Yeah, but my point is that when Disney goes to do things, I don't know if Disney could do a $90 million film like that, because if anybody figures out, or the word gets out that it's not, fucking
but if you have a 4-man crew, look, he was but let me tell you, I know what you've seen. Lucas talked about that. That's why Return of the Jedi is called Blue Harvest, because there was a Star Wars tax, what he would call it, right? For when people knew it was a Star Wars movie, they just jack up the price of everything. So you had to give it a code name. But here's what Gareth said about that. He said, so there's a scene where they shoot at this facility, this plant or whatever, and there's all this shit going down. And he's like, you cut to these people, and these other people are not even reacting to it. They're off in their own world. He's like, that's actually real people in the real world. He's like, when you have a 4-man crew, people don't pay attention to you. They just don't notice you, when you have that smaller crew. So you can go shoot this stuff.
When they see 90 in a big circle and they're all black and like ominous looking, and then there's like important people there and shit. It's very
the only problem with Star Wars, though, the only difference is the costumes. Because the minute you have a stormtrooper outfit, there's no way, unless those stormtroopers are all going to be CGI, right? The minute you have a stormtrooper outfit, that's the costumes, as we know from even Manhattan Beach production, probably the highest cost right now is just building all those costumes. I mean, there's shots in that Thrawn bit. I think the very first shot where he sends those troops forward are CGI troopers. It looks CGI to me. Like the angle of them, like there's definitely real life ones, but there's ones where in the very beginning where I'm like, there's something weird about it. I can't put my finger on that.
I could be wrong. What I think it is I think they have like a small amount of troopers made, and then they filmed, composited, redressed,
and then composited. Yeah, it could be a lot of times when we say CGI looks fake, it's not that it's fake, it's the compositing stuff. That's why I totally recommend Hugo's Desk, the YouTube channel Hugo's Desk, because he's a professional compositor, and they go over films from the Batman, Avatar, Star Wars, whatever, Maverick, especially Maverick, and he shows you like what is a compositing issue. It's not a CGI issue, you know.
Yeah,
and compositing still, and the compositing that they developed for Avatar 2 is insane. Like it's next level shit. But that's the only thing is the costumes. Not the Jedi robes because obviously they look Star Warsy for the creator. So we know if they could shoot that, it's the minute you got a stormtrooper outfit or a Kylo Ren outfit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I do think
droids,
that if you had like Galen and Hottie, and you had those red samurai looking nomads from Dathomir, whatever planet that is. What planet is it? Were they on Peregrine or what? I got 5 different fucking names for this planet. What is it? What are they on?
What I find interesting is when they were doing the like puppets for that planet, I was told they were called. It was called Nodia.
Nodia.
Yeah. No, Peridia is the planet. That's what they're calling it, right? And then when they those little guys, the Nodia, they were calling that Nodi. They were calling it Nodia. So I don't know if it's like, if in the end the idea is that like Nodia moves around, but what I found interesting is when you watch it with subtitles on, when the bandits are speaking, it says in Nodi. So the bandits are speaking the language of the crab people.
I told you it's just weird, the whole thing. So
yeah, I think at some point they either consolidated worlds and made it like one location where all of this stuff happens, because it's like, or the planet is actually called Nodia and then was renamed Peridia like when the witches took it over or some shit like that. Something that's just gonna be like whatever, some fucking lore bullshit. But it's because it's Peridia and Nodia. So fucking trying to make sense of that. And then they speak Nodia on the planet. So yeah, it's very, very strange. Ray of Water, Ray has very good comments. Ray, I gotta say, you usually have very good comments. Wonder if Gareth Edwards will ever come back to Star Wars, considering the whole crew, sans Hans Zimmer, was carried from Rogue One. And that's what was funny was when the shit was going down on Rogue One, they seemed like they were really cool with Gareth during and after. But it was, people were coming to me from that group in defense of Gareth, being like, they're taking his fucking movie, you know? Like that was like the thing. Like, we're telling you what's going on because we want Gareth should be taken care of. Like, this is fucked up. And but then like you look at how it's all kind of shaking out, and it seems like Gareth was very much like, all right, it's your shit, man. Take it, you know, about the whole thing. And then, but I'm kind of surprised, like he, you know, I feel like maybe he's like done there. Maybe he had his experience and isn't interested and likes them, but just doesn't want that pressure and that stress and whatever, you know, like resulted in. Because I think he's a fine filmmaker. He was before he had Rogue One. I think we know visually he did good work on it. We know he didn't write Rogue One, so the problems that existed weren't him. You know,
he's made the only American-made Godzilla film I like. I don't care anyway. It's a remake of Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Godzilla, and I still think it's the best Godzilla film It's the best
It's
Godzilla
a good
film
one.
ever made in America. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit what anyone says. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
true artist. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
really, really like his style. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. He signed a mutual friend, he signed a Rogue One poster for me. It said for the
Awesome.
Lords. It was a really nice guy. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to see him back, but I would almost think that like in a way, just in terms of like the PRE kind of stuff, I was almost like kind of surprised like they didn't ask him to come in for like Andor to like do episodes of Andor, but maybe there is like animosity, or maybe there's like a territorial creative thing there between Gilroy, even, who knows. But I thought
Well,
that
he
was
started writing The Creator in 2018, and then they shot
Mhm.
like in 2021, 22.
Yeah.
I think their scheduling wouldn't have even allowed it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I do
well,
think there has to be some sore. It has to be, there has to be some level of.
yeah,
I've been on project that were canceled, and then they're like, "You want to come back?" I'm like, "No," like,
yeah,
like maybe it's just no. It's a shame though. I would like to think, look, all things are possible. I mean, people have come back to projects way after we thought they ever would. We never thought Hayden Christensen would be coming back to play Anakin Skywalker. So anything's possible.
Well, Rayo says it's interesting that nobody has come out in defense of Patty Jenkins and Colin Trevorrow, who have been rumored to be difficult, but everyone has said Gareth is a cool dude. Yeah, and that's generally like, it's kind of funny at Lucasfilm. Like, okay, so originally when Kirshner was on Empire, everybody loved the guy. He was so good that when the new people came to start, Return of the Jedi, there was tribalism. It made it very hard for Richard Marquand. And I
He got the
think
shit end of the stick, Richard Marquand, dude. He
yeah,
really did.
he's lucky. He's lucky he even got the stick, to be honest with you, though. And but when it comes to but that happened again, in my opinion, at Lucasfilm with the same thing after Ryan Johnson. Is that Ryan Johnson? I mean, everybody loved Ryan. Everyone was just like, he's just like the cool college professor that everybody likes, And then like when people have to go back and work with JJ again, they're like, oh fuck, and all that stuff. And it is I do think him being so accommodating and nice kind of made some of the Lucasfilm people very, very turned off to a lot of the Trevorrow stuff specifically initially. And yeah,
Say what you want though about Trevorrow. I'm not a
Mhm.
fan, but his Jurassic Park films make money, and they made more money than
Yeah.
the Star Wars. I mean, than the last. I mean, like, you just got to
But
be honest. Like,
Logan
and look,
Paul and Jake
if they're
Paul and
sitting
those
here complaining,
fuckheads,
but if Star Wars and
fucking
Lucasfilm
Den
and
of
Disney,
Nerds makes money, and it's just like,
yeah,
so
but
what?
if
So
they're
what?
using that money as justification to greenlight projects, then there you go. Like,
Remember the other day when I was like the Noti, or like little lobster people or some shit. I can't remember. I was saying that the guy goes out and tweets out a lobster thing to be like, "Oh guys, I know something." I was like, "This fucking dude, I can't believe it. I just don't get it."
Jason
yeah.
needs to stop complaining about other YouTubers. It brings the show down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like to get in the mud like John Candy and Stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rubber Band Man. No,
Yeah.
Stripes did it first. Stripes did it first, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'll just never understand like YouTubers that make good, serious money wanting to be me and Bespin when it sucks. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's fucking weird.
You know what, Jason? We have a saying in the Army: your best duty station was your last. Grass is always greener on the other side, right? They want the credibility, but it doesn't come with the money. I think they'll take the money over the credibility any day. I would.
Yeah,
I would
just like
happily sell
money
out
and
this show to be
stop
wealthy,
worrying
but-
about credibility. You don't have any.
Yeah.
But
I just want the fucking money,
Yeah.
like, but they won't let me on their shows because I speak the truth. So it's a problem.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know anything about Patty though, to be honest with you. So
I just know she made the worst Wonder Woman I've ever seen. And I mean, and I've seen all the shit since the 70s. That fucking film. That film it's up there with Blade 3, Morbius, The Phantom. It
Yeah.
wasn't a bad film. It's just a stupid costume. You know, the Phantom. Probably not fair on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's no
Yeah, but
Condor Man. Put it that way.
but yeah, he will cite me sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't. And then, but when he does, because usually it's backhanded. And then when it's not backhanded, he's using this stuff to rile his people up and to make like fucking like things like race wars, bait and
Race
switch
War.
shit and
Yeah,
everything.
bait and switch.
And then
Yeah.
and then when he goes and does that though, that's him like literally taking the thing I said and pretending like it's him saying it. He didn't say like I heard this on Making Star Wars. He's literally pretending like he has inside information because he knows that most people don't pay enough attention, that they just see that fucking crap thing. Oh, that guy knows stuff. Okay, yeah, just like knows a lot about the the Old Republic movie that we got, right? You know, it's just like I don't know, just be cool. Not a big fucking. It's not that hard just to be cool.
Also known internally as that old ass Republic movie, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah,
it's the code name.
No, and that's my point, Pistol, is that like just because something makes money, like Colin Trevorrow, just fucking cares. It doesn't mean anything. Like the worst things make money. It has nothing to do with quality of content. It has to do with
that's why I don't like it when Lucasfilm is out there saying stuff about, well, they aren't saying it, but when I have to hear about because of Solo, everything's scrapped. I was like, that's not the problem. That what your problem wasn't that, come on, man, what are we doing here? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the other thing he does. Ben says he literally said the spoilers on his Monday night show and pitched them as his theory. And I was like, what in the world? You just straight up copied. Yeah, he goes to Reddit, reads Reddit, and then acts like they're his ideas. Like that's the fucking game. And the 11-year-olds are like, here's $10, here's $10. Oh my god, you're so smart. But am I jealous? Fuck yeah, I'm jealous because I work hard and I don't get rewarded for it. The Ray of Water says, I remember when Dead and Nerds claimed to have a scoop about episodes 10, 11, and 12, even though Johanna Robinson said something like that first. Yeah, it's always something like that. It's a grift. The Ray of Water says, Trevorrow always felt like an Iger idea, not a Kathy thing. No, he's cool with them. I mean, if you want to think about it, like Frank Marshall's her husband.
A Kathy thing. Yeah, that's Frank Marshall, Jurassic Park, dude. Like,
yeah, that's like he's on the Jurassic World stuff because of that family. So, yeah, but also, it was they did fire him. Kathy did be like, hey, it ain't working.
Yeah,
well,
you think you're safe because you made the Jurassic Parks?
Yeah. I never know exactly how things go. I just know what people tell me, right?
You know what Kathy does? She goes, with this film, right? That's what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
But what I heard was that if they wanted to fire, they didn't like the script. They were going to fire his co-writer and bring in somebody else. That's when Jack Thorne starts to enter the project. And then he walked with Jack Thorne. So it was like he was fired, but he was also like, they knew he was going to quit when his writing partner was going to be asked to leave. So it was like, it's like Rob. People are like, get Rob off the show. I'm like, fuck you, we'll quit. Right? It's like that.
They know you won't quit. Your investment will be here every day. They'll be happier for it. It's what it is, Jason, is I have no interest in talking about like theories on what Sabine Wren would do if she were confronted with. I just don't give two fucks. The show's gonna do what it's gonna do.
What do you think you would do?
Talk about what the show does. You can say what you would have maybe done, but this theorizing shit, I don't understand why we want to spend 30 minutes talking about Purgle theories. Like it's just like, it's fucking ridiculous that fans are doing this. Like, I'm like, really? I care about the people making this stuff. It's called Making Star Wars.
Purgatory? You don't believe in purgatory?
Hey, look, without me, you don't get purgatory. So
I mean, like, I feel deceived right now.
I don't care about it, but I like the wordplay. I guess I do like word games. Shit, even I'm not consistent.
So yeah, Ray Water says, and then Kathy asked Ryan. Ryan said no. Then she cried a bit and called JJ. That's not how I heard it happen. No. I heard that Rejuan went to JJ. They were talking to Ryan, and he was interested, and they were talking about sending him out to the UK to strike and save sets. And then in the midst of that, Rejuan got Iger and JJ together and made that deal, and then I heard that's how it happened. I mean, they could, maybe it's not true, but that's what I was told, and from people who literally told me the plot of episode 9, like straight out. So I believe them.
I believe it.
And it makes me sad. It makes me sad because I believe in Rian Johnson. I believe Rian Johnson can make a Star Wars movie I wouldn't like, and I would still respect it. I know JJ.
That's how I feel about The Last Jedi. I didn't like it, but I respect it.
Yeah, I love it.
Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars film ever made.
It is my least favorite Star Wars movie. Yeah. Minivent from Ben says it seriously annoys me when the guy backhand bashes you like he's got these little tiny details wrong, but he forgot basically 95% of the things correct. So damn stupid. Yeah, that kind of shit is just that's cattiness. It's like you got to gatekeep the audience that you have. That's why I'm not good at this. He does cite me. He does cite me sometimes. He does. Yeah. And he does hit me with the backhanded shit like all the time. Yeah. Because he knows I think he's a fucking clown. And then I know when he's bullshitting. I know he's a fucking straight up bullshitter. So,
his whole
that's why he
treatment
does that.
Of Moses Ingram during Kenobi.
He should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, I fuck that dude and fuck that channel, and I'll never forget it, unless he comes out and publicly fucking apologize for it and changes his fucking ways. Sure. You're just another Joe Rogan libertarian like fucking douchebag. Like, fuck off.
It's that whole anything to make it on YouTube kind of thing, Yeah. I mean, granted, he's laughing while he's probably eating fucking lobster and calling it fucking little crab people. But whatever.
Oh yeah, he's getting plenty of money. He's got us beat. Yeah, no doubt.
But that's what happens. That's like the problem. It really does speak to just a general larger problem when it comes to news, that people don't want the truth. They want somebody who they wish was telling them the truth to tell them just anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like when that guy, like, he likes to rile people up. I remember one time he was showing me like all these like different like featured images for his things, just like rile people up, knowing it was going to make them all go crazy. And it's like, and I know that's marketing, fuck, whatever, cool. I mean, but my whole thing is you can market and then be like, have good spirit after that. But also, is what it is. I don't really like give a shit. But it is annoying when I go out and I'm like speaking off the cuff saying lobsters, and then he's like, oh, lobsters, look at me, guys. It's like such a phony fucking thing to do. Like, do you have no self-respect on that
Jason,
front?
I'm surprised it went right over your head. They're rock lobsters. Went right over your head, didn't it?
Rock lobster.
Yeah, I've been holding on to that one for 2 days.
Yeah.
They're rock lobsters.
Rock lobster. All right, that's fair. What, was Ezra living in a love shack? I need to look back at that. No, but
Rusty.
We did it. We did our show.
Oh, we did it.
We did it.
We did 90 minutes. It's too long, Jason.
Agree to disagree. I think I
do
it 2 hours. Want to do another 2 hours?
We don't have to do this for like 3 more days, right?
I don't know. I mean,
you'll do it tonight just to spite me.
I've been jamming with Freddie Mercury and John Lennon the last couple of days, writing shows about Ahsoka. So,
that's how you missed Rock Lobster.
That's why, I mean, but I think we see where this is going now, don't we? We see that the B-52s might be coming to hang out with us pretty soon, because I think we got a song coming.
Are you telling me that the key to Balin's plan is on Planet Claire?
Yeah, it is on Planet Claire. That bitch. Like, all right. Anyways, we'll be. I think we'll be back tomorrow. I want to do a show tomorrow, so I plan to do one tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Fine. It's fine.
Hey, maybe we'll have Bespin on.
It's fine. Maybe not.
Maybe we'll have Azatur.
We tried to have Jesse on today, but this mic wouldn't work. So maybe we'll have Jesse on tomorrow. Jesse's girl.
His mic's even weirder than your mic. Like,
yeah.
My
mic is good. But anyways, yeah. So thank you to everybody for the super chats today. Thank you for being a channel member, supporting the show.
Quickly, did you see the Bethesda leak? So like Microsoft had all these like court papers when they had discovery for the Microsoft Activision, blah 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 blah, and that shit got leaked, right? The actual court shit. Right. And the Indiana Jones game was like in there for the release schedule, like all the Bethesda stuff, because they're owned by Microsoft. Like,
oh, okay.
So like, yeah. So that's definitely still happening. I know. Yeah, put out that game after the movie. Smart, real smart.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Genius.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I think a big reason that the Indiana Jones movie failed is because there has been no work on Indiana Jones since the last one. There hasn't been anything to get awareness, to bring in new fans, to make people like talking about it.
Cancel that game with him in Short Round in San Francisco. You know,
Short Round wasn't in it, was he? No, he wasn't in it. No,
he was in it. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, he was in it.
I think you're just making that up.
Chinatown in San Francisco. Got to be in it, right? It's got to be in it.
But is Short Round from China?
Huh?
Where's Short Round from?
This is Spielberg and Lucas. Here we're talking about. You know, it's from Vietnam, but you know, like it's Lucas. Come on, man. Are we doing this? Like,
no, explain it to me, Rob. All right, everybody.
I can do it as Lucas if you'd like.
Lucas just likes accents. At the end of the day, he's like, "Your accent's funny. You're going in the movie." But all right, bye everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
It's the end of the show. Come
on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.